How did you learn how to manage your money?
I'll tell you this, my very first job as an actor ever, it was a Nike commercial, but it aired during the Super Bowl. I got a split-second appearance on it. I'll never forget, I got a $20,000 check, and I spent it in 5 days.
Welcome to The Exit Interview. We're on air with actor, musician, and dad Ronen Rubinstein, whose journey from screen to music studio shows how vulnerability and reinvention can coexist in art and in life.
Hi, we're here with Ronen Rubinstein, actor, producer, musician, and new dad. Also the star of 911 Lone Star, and
Yes.
now the new SWAT Exiles that's coming out.
Yes.
So we're super excited to talk to you today. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us for the Exit Interview.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited about this.
So I want to get started. We normally kind of dig into people's origin story, and what was interesting reading up on you was that I know you're from my hometown. You're from New York City.
East
we
Coast,
in a building.
Yeah.
You're from Shaolin. You're from
That's
Staten
right.
Island.
That's right.
And it was so interesting reading that you kind of got into acting, or like you had a guidance counselor get you into acting as kind of like a stabilizing force, as something for you to really lean into.
Yeah.
Which is like when I read that, I was like, well, that's ironic because you don't think of acting
Yeah.
as a career path that's normally people identify with something that's grounding and stabilizing. But tell us a little bit about like your start in performing and acting, how you caught the bug, and what the story was.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the most unstable careers I think you can pick. But I think that goes to show the sort of place I was in at the time, of the instability that I was in, and the sort of chaotic place that I was in. I went to a public school in Staten Island, New Dorp High School, in not the best area. We also lived in kind of the rough lower class area of Staten Island. We were immigrants, moved to this tiny bungalow. Literally, my parents gave up the second bedroom for my sister, and they slept on the couch.
Wow.
So shout out to my parents.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
guys.
real.
Kind of a hard place to grow up. There's some rough neighborhoods with some rough kids. The opioid epidemic was kind of booming. I know it's still booming, sadly. So I was very heavily involved with that. Probably from 16 to 18. It was an almost everyday sort of occurrence. And then we mixed that with alcohol and weed. So it was kind of this really dangerous trifecta of just pills and alcohol and weed, and our drink of choice, whoever's watching might know this, Four Loko.
We know Four Loko.
Yeah, before they banned it.
Sorry, I don't know anything about Four Locos.
So that was kind of our everyday routine on the way to school.
Oh, wow.
So that was in the morning. Yeah. So the first 3 years of high school were pretty rough. And, I was still managing to somehow put up good grades. I think that was because of the pressure and fear of my parents and instilling that sort of into my brain of you have to bring home good grades. But so 3 years of that, I think teachers started realizing like, you're not looking too hot. You're not doing too well. You're missing a lot of class. You're showing up to class literally like inebriated. I still sometimes try to think back like how I even got through school.
Right.
I have to hear a lot of stories from other people, 'cause I don't really remember saying all of that. I had a guidance counselor. Her name was Miss Renee Capola. And I think she pulled me aside one day because she probably saw everything and was like, Ronen, I think you should probably do something with yourself after school. And I think the theater department could be the way to do it. Keep you busy for, the rest of the day when you're done with school. I was like, you know what? Fine. I guess. Why not? I knew there was a lot of pretty girls in theater.
Hey, that doesn't hurt.
Did acting or theater in general ever attract you prior to that moment?
I mean, I loved movies. I can't say, we didn't have that TV craze back then. So for me, my big, I guess, inspirations were like music and movies. I grew up in like the peak Drake era, which is one of the best eras. And back when you actually had to go to the cinema to watch film, which I'm very grateful for.
What were you watching growing up? What do you remember going?
I was watching everything. I mean, still to this day, my favorite movie of all time is Fight Club.
Yes.
Obviously, I wasn't, around when Fight Club came out in theaters, but I remember I had the sickest Blu-ray collection. Would always go to the theaters. Kids probably watching this don't even know what a Blu-ray is.
I know. I mean, like, the children are like, Blu-ray? There's no E. There's no E in it, guys.
Yeah, there's definitely no E. We still don't know why. But, movies were always around. But,
sure.
Coming from the family that I came from, pursuing the arts was, it wouldn't even cross their mind.
Sure.
Was there like an expectation from typical immigrant families of lawyer, doctor?
Yeah, 100%. And, my dad is a dentist. My grandfather was a dentist. My great-grandfather was a dentist.
Got it.
So I think for them, it was... for myself and my sister, I think it was always expected, he's going to be a dentist.
Sure.
Of course, right?
Sure.
I remember also, I forgot which summer. It might have been the previous summer, but my dad brought me in to sort of, I guess, like, just overlook what he does and maybe sort of, like, shadow him a little bit. And I remember sitting there once with a patient. I'll never forget this, she was getting a root canal. And he had me hold the suction. And I remember as soon as the blood started pooling,
You were out.
I turned so pale. And I kind of got like lightheaded. And my dad looked at me, and I think that's when he realized all of his dreams were crushed. He's like, this kid's not going to be a dentist.
It's like Leonardo DiCaprio and Catch Me If You Can. You're just like...
Exactly.
I think that was the moment where he's like, fuck, my son can't do this. And I'll never forget, he's like, go get some air. So I think he knew from that moment on. I definitely, from the moment we started, rehearsing plays and doing, live theater in my high school, I immediately caught the bug. And then when we actually had our first sort of play for an audience, I happened to get the lead role in it. And I remember stepping out when the curtains open, stepping out on our opening night, and that feeling, like I will never forget that, in front of an audience on a stage with the bright lights. Something happened that night, and I was like, oh my God, I think I want to be an actor, which is a crazy sort of realization to come to, especially coming from where I am, living where I am, hanging around with the kids that I was hanging around with. They, I'm sure, called me every profanity in the book. You can probably guess which ones. But it was that moment where I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
And how did that go over with the family?
Terrible. Terribly.
When did you first tell them?
Junior year of high school.
Oh, okay.
I think they completely disregarded it. They're like, whatever. He's just a
They're
stupid
like the
kid.
ramblings of a young child.
My dad was trying to get through dental school at NYU, still not knowing English very well.
Wow.
Because
your first language is Russian.
Yeah, so we primarily spoke Russian. So my dad, after being a dentist in 2 different countries, had to come to America and learn first of all, how to speak English. So he was very busy, obviously. My mom was sort of trying to hold down the fort, but also working a million jobs.
Sure.
We were so broke. And I think the last thing they could do was pay attention to what I was doing.
Right.
And my poor sister kind of got caught in the middle of all of it. Sorry, sis. We're super tight now, but I totally get it.
Right.
So that summer, I kind of went on my PC and was like, how do you become an actor?
Did it cross your mind to do like dentist commercials to get started?
Hell no. Hell no. But so between junior and senior, I literally Googled how to become an actor.
Right.
Lo and behold, this article comes up about this program in Manhattan. Forgot what it's called. I think it was literally called something like Breaking into Hollywood. It definitely doesn't exist anymore. And I'll never forget, there was like a initial sort of interview process. I think I was 16 or 17.
Oh, wow.
So I remember my sister took me to Manhattan, and I met this sort of lady that I guess runs the program. And I was like, hey, I want to be an actor. And I think we like talked. I don't even think we did a scene. And she's like, okay, you can get into this program. Long story short, it was a summer program where every weekend, we did plays. We learned about scene study. We, people came in that, were sort of actors or have done stuff. And I kind of pursued it all summer and took it very seriously. And public transportation to Manhattan every single weekend. And then at the end of that summer, there was a showcase where you do a play in front of managers and agents. And I did the scene from, do you remember that movie with Shia LaBeouf called Disturbia?
Oh, yeah.
I did a scene from that as my sort of showcase monologue. And from that monologue, I got a call from a manager. Their name was Shirley Grant. I'll never forget. They discovered the Jonas Brothers.
Oh,
wow.
So for me, it was like, oh shit, this is legit. So that management ended up getting my first gig, which was a film called It Felt Like Love. It's this tiny indie. We shot in Rockaway Beach for no money. I think they literally shot it for $120,000.
Wow.
For anybody that knows anything about movies, they know that's nothing. And it was the lead male. It was a beautiful film by an up-and-coming director called Eliza Hittman. We shot it over the summer and thought nothing of it. So I went into my senior year of high school, with a little extra swagger, because I was like, yeah, I did a movie.
Yeah.
That happened.
Nothing, heard nothing. And then I graduated high school. I was definitely still doing stuff because I don't remember my high school graduation. I wasn't clean just yet. And that's truly when the conflict happened with my family of, okay, I'm done with high school. Now what are you going to do?
Right, because you weren't going to college. You didn't.
I think my parents were like, is there schooling for this stuff? Like this acting stuff?
This
Like,
real?
can you go to school for it? Like,
Right.
they had no idea what it was.
Yeah, of course.
So I actually found a school called New York Film Academy. What's ironic is that when I was at New York Film Academy, that tiny little film got into Sundance.
Right.
And that's when everything
Right.
changed.
Wow.
Everything. I didn't realize what that was just yet. The sort of what that really means, like to have a film. And it was like a very, very critically acclaimed film. As sort of my first gig.
That's crazy.
That's when everything sort of started happening. Yeah.
When did you? Because you said towards the end there was still some activity going on.
Yeah.
When did you? Was that the moment where you just kind of like walked away from that, or did that happen over time?
I think being at Sundance, and then I call him my guardian angel, my manager of 12 years, Oren Siegel. I remember he only saw the trailer for It Felt Like Love. He reached out, and it was this big manager from Los Angeles, and I still had nothing to do with Los Angeles. He reached out and he said, "Hey, I wanted to talk to you about possibly representing you. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then I looked him up. He used to be...
Fire that PC up again.
I think at that point I may have had
a Mac by
a sidekick.
iMac,
You know, remember the sidekicks?
Oh yeah.
I looked him up, and he used to be an agent with Angelina Jolie, Brittany Murphy. Still to this day represents Kim Basinger.
Oh, wow.
Some big hitters. And I was like, oh, this is very legit. Because I knew who those people were. I was very sort of naive, but I knew who they were.
Sure.
I've seen them in movies and idolized them in a way. So I met with him. I think I flew to LA, had lunch with him. And I think that was sort of the turning point of like, okay, this is now a business. And it's not just me anymore.
Right.
It's this very legitimate manager who is kind of risking it to sign me.
How old are you at this stage?
19. Wow. Yeah. So I think that's probably when everything clicked of like, I have to take this seriously.
Right.
Because it's not just me anymore. I'm now accountable to this big ass manager in Hollywood. And I wanted to get out. You know, I think I've always wanted to get out. I just didn't realize that I could. Thinking back on it, that was probably my first time seeing a way out. So that's probably when I cleaned up as much as I could.
Right.
And then from there, you progressed into stardom pretty aggressively, we'll say. You were in your early 20s and then suddenly kind of becoming a TV star, a movie star. What was that leap from, and how did you not fall back into the bad habits when you suddenly have some sort of fame and a lot of money coming in and managing that? What was that journey like?
Oh man, yeah. I guess it did happen pretty quick.
Yeah.
When you look back on it, it is a pretty kind of supercharged journey, you know, to sort of like kind of start with Sundance and then a few years later, literally on my first TV show as a series regular. 2 years after Sundance, I was on a TV show as a series regular called Dead of Summer.
It's huge.
Yeah, I was 21. That's fucking crazy. You know, you're kind of like in it, and you never really, you never really like take a moment. And then when you like add up the numbers,
like,
for me, I was like, that was a 10-year gap, right?
Yeah, no, to be a series regular on a TV show at 21 is major.
Yeah, that's and all of a sudden you're seeing like legit money.
Yeah.
Like 6-figure paychecks at 21.
Yeah.
And I was still living in Staten Island. It's not like I made it out yet.
Right. Wow.
I was still living with my parents. And I was like, holy shit. So there's actually money to be made here. Like I saw and heard about it. You know, you watch the tabloids and the news and all that shit. But like when you're actually in it, because before I was working gigs where you're making $100 a day.
Sure.
You know, like really, really like bare bone independent films. That's kind of where I earned my stripes. And I'm very grateful for that because I think I've carried that mentality literally to this day. And I think I will for the rest of my career of almost treating it like you're on some, you know, rough indie making $100 a day.
Oh, got it. You kept the spirit of that.
Yeah. I think it's a healthier way to approach it instead of being like, well,
of course.
Where's my latte? I'll take 4 lattes just because I can.
Right.
Also, it was my first time shooting outside of New York.
Sure.
We shot in Vancouver. So I was in a different country. And I truly got to be out of my house and out of my, you know, my sort of ecosystem for 6 months. And, you know, everything that comes with that. It's so much more than being an actor. I was very much experiencing life as a young adult.
Right.
And meeting, you know, new people from the cast to the crew to, you know, a different nationality, meeting Canadians. It's ironic I'm married to a Canadian now. I must really like them. One of my closest friends ever I met on that show. His name's Alberto Frezza. We met 10 years ago, and he's like my brother. So that was a huge turning point for me. And look, that show lasted 1 season, but that show gave me so much knowledge, and it was so valuable in so many different ways. It also fueled me financially to finally move from New York to Los Angeles.
Right.
And that's really when things...
Is this when your family finally accepted your career path?
Yes. Yeah.
And they were supportive of you moving to Los Angeles?
Yeah. So it took 5 years, 6 years. It took 6 years for them to be like, okay, this is legit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they came to visit me on set in Vancouver. And I think for them, it was the first time realizing what I do.
Right.
And I remember they came during an overnight shoot, and it was 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. And they were watching in Video Village where the screens are, seeing what we're doing. And I remember my dad comes up to me, he's like, "Why do you have to say the same thing so many times?" And I was like, "That's just part of it." Right. And then they saw like their son nodding out in his chair, and then they're like, "All right, we're ready for you guys." And I have to pop up and not pretend it's 5 a.m., and we're like exhausted and like delirious, and then have to go in and be like fresh faced and deliver this performance. And I think for them, that was the first time being like, "Oh my God, this is like,
it's real.
This is real. And this is a skill, and this is an art form." And I remember also my dad would just kind of wander on set and see like hundreds of people. It's kind of like worker ants. Everybody has a job. And I think that was their first time being like, "Oh, this is a legit career. It's a job. Yeah, it's a job. You shoot 12 hours and that scene is like 1 minute long."
Exactly.
So that fueled my move to Los Angeles, and I moved to LA in 2017. And that's when truly everything changed.
It's so gratifying to have that moment when you're, especially, after the resistance.
Yes.
For them to come and for the penny to really drop, especially them being immigrants and having no frame of reference.
Nothing.
It's just such a gratifying. I remember like I got to take my grandmother like first movie for like the premiere of Bamboozled, which is like the first film I did when I was like young executive, and like we had a big premiere, and I got to like bring her in the limo from Brooklyn. She came to the theater, and she was like walking around, and then like I got to introduce her to Spike Lee.
Oh my God.
And she she just froze. It was the funniest thing. She was like, and I was like,
yeah.
But that was the moment where she was like looking at me and she was like, this is your job. This is real.
This is real.
This is real.
It's so rare to like actually sort of make something out of this career.
Oh yeah.
And I still sort of pinch myself sometimes of like, how the fuck am I here?
Right. How did I do this? But it's for an actor especially. I mean, starting as young as you did, and coming from where you're coming from, it's really impressive.
How are you able to stay so level-headed? I feel like since we've met you, you're extremely humble. Yeah. You have like a very kind soul. How did you, we've seen a lot of artists and famous people that they end up, it gets to their head and they think they're above it.
Yeah, they lose themselves. I call it getting lost in the sauce. I think I just never forget where I come from. Right. Ever. And I don't even need to remind myself that often because it, just quickly speaking to you guys today, it's just, I think that constant reminder of like, I remember what it was like not to have any of this and not to even have the imagination to think that this was even possible. I think that kind of has what also been my fuel through all of this of like, I never want to go back there again, because that shit sucks, man. Yeah. So I think that kind of has been my motivation, and I just live in like tremendous amounts of gratitude.
Right.
And I also understand how hard it is to get even a little far in this career, let alone what I've been able to do.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank God.
all the gods, all the universes, everything. I'm just, I get to do what I love, and I get to live in a dream pretty much. I get to live in a daydream.
Right.
And everything that it's led to outside of work, like the things that the doors that it's opened up for me, the opportunities that it's opened up for me. I just can't imagine being shitty about that, you know? And I look at people that are, and it's gross. It just kind of like grosses me out. I'm like, you guys have no fucking idea.
Right.
Especially the ones that have never had to come from struggle. They don't know how good they got it, you know?
Yeah, you almost did it in reverse. Like, you know, like people come into Hollywood and then they like lose themselves and go off and do all these kind of crazy things and get involved in drugs. Like you almost like, for you, it ironically was like a stabilizing force. Like you finding work that you love, earning money, you know, and it kind of stabilized you. How did you learn how to manage your money that you were making? Like, or did you at first? Like,
man,
were there lots of bottles being popped in the beginning? Like, how did you?
I'll tell you this: my very first job as an actor ever, it was a Nike commercial. It was literally my first time. It's ironic, again, talk about like how things happen. It was my first audition ever.
Oh wow!
Number one ever. This is with that first management. My mom took me to the audition. I was 16 years old. It was a Nike commercial. It was I didn't know that this was gonna air then, but it aired during the Super Bowl.
Oh,
I got a split second appearance on it. I was a basketball player in a huddle. It was called Nike Boom.
Oh, you were famous.
First, I got my split second of fame.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, I'll never forget, I got a $20,000 check.
Wow.
Which I have never seen that kind of money before,
yeah.
ever. And I got it in one lump sum. And I spent it in 5 days.
In 5 days? On what? At 16?
I bought all the homies Subway. And
That's a lot of Subway,
bought
man.
so much weed because I was like, finally. So I spent $20,000 pretty much on Subway and weed.
Well, it goes together.
For all the homies. Of course.
I mean, more weed, more Subway, more weed, you know? Like
Yeah, and in a week, you know, you
yin
could do a lot of damage in a week. So I remember, man, I thought I was like the king of Staten Island. You know, all the homies were so happy, and they're like, "My boy made it!" And then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh
we live
shit,
it, right?" And then
it's
wait
gone.
a minute, right?
Where'd it go?
Now you got your bus pass out. You're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, oh shit, I got to keep doing this, I guess. But yeah, when I actually came into like legitimate money, I literally had to learn on the job. There was no playbook.
Right.
I didn't have financial advisors.
Right.
My poor parents were struggling at the time, so you know I couldn't really talk to them about it.
Who guided you or who taught you? Because this is also a topic too where people are embarrassed to seek out guidance for these types of things.
Yeah, I think it was like at that time. I think it was like a family accountant, and it also was just like a lot of reading. Because when you get your pay stub and you're like, they're taking out what?
Right.
And where's this going? And who is that? You know, and it's kind of like,
FICO?
Yeah. I was like, what the hell is Social Security? So I think for me, I like, again, I don't know why, but I was like, I have to learn about this because it's like half of my paycheck.
Right.
So I was like, and then I had to learn, like, you don't spend everything. You have to put away for taxes. You have to save because this is not guaranteed. And then, you know, like with my first show, Dead of Summer, it got canceled.
Right.
You know, so I was like, oh, so I have to like live off of this for a while. And, I got a nice car right away and kind of like probably bought some other shit and then moved to Los Angeles. So, I probably didn't have that much left up, and I kind of just learned on the job of how to do it smart and efficient. And, but again, luckily, like things just kept rolling. And so I was able to practice while still working.
Right.
Thank God I didn't have to do it the other way of practicing how to keep my money without work.
We hear a lot of like horror stories about managers taking advantage of young actors,
Yeah.
but you've spoken highly about your manager who you're still with. How
yeah.
impactful was that for your career?
Well, I think he was probably everything. Like when I first started coming to Los Angeles, he not only was he a manager of like acting, he was like a manager of my life as well. Like he always made sure I had somewhere to live. Right. Like he let me live with his grandmother, who we had the greatest time. She was the sweetest lady. She really took me in. He always made sure I had a car so I could get to my meetings, I could get to my auditions. Made sure he would, take me out for meals. So he was, crucial in that whole sort of beginning phase of my career where I was really grinding and like trying to make something of myself out here in Los Angeles, which was so foreign to me. When I met him, he was in his early 30s. I was 21. No, I was 19. So we kind of came up together, I'm now pretty much the same age that he was when he met me. So we've been through so much life together, as well as career, accomplishments. So I truly call him my guardian angel. Love you, Oren.
I wonder if you could talk about, so obviously, your career like leveled off, you started doing well, you got yourself stabilized. And I know that you have a lot of activist work that you do and a lot of causes that are important to you. I wondered what was your thought process around that, or how conscious was it for you to really kind of decide like, these are things I want to like step up on. These are causes that I want to support.
It's a two-part answer because in 2012, Hurricane Sandy hit New York, and we were living in Staten Island, like a rock's throw away from the beach. And when Hurricane Sandy hit, we lost everything. Like every physical thing we had, we lost. My neighborhood was underwater for like 3 days.
Wow.
Like my entire neighborhood, which is so hard to comprehend because it's like 2-story houses underwater. So we, not only were we already like not doing well, we then literally lost everything by an ocean. The ocean took our home, our car, everything. Photo albums, like that's shit that you just can't get back.
Right.
So I think that was my first time being like, what is this? Like, what is what's natural disasters?
Right.
Why are they happening so often? Because I saw the damage it does firsthand. It almost took my parents. They almost lost their lives. It was the scariest night of my life. So that was, I think, my first time being like, this is kind of bizarre. These natural disasters. Cut to 4 years later, I'm on this TV show. I, for the first time ever, get some sort of social media platform. People want to ask me questions, interviews, photo shoots. Instagram started growing, Twitter started growing. And I watched Leonardo DiCaprio's documentary called Before the Flood. He is my ultimate, he is my North Star. And I saw that documentary and everything clicked. It was almost like a physical click in my brain. I like felt it. I was like, oh shit. The most famous actor of all time, arguably, has dedicated most of his life while doing the other thing.
Right.
To trying to protect our planet, the people that live on it, underserved communities. And I was like, if he could do it, I can at least give it a try. Like I'm nobody at this point. I was like, I can maybe say something or work with someone with this little platform. Maybe it could do some good. So that was the moment where climate activism for me was like, of course, it's a no-brainer. I was like, I have a platform. People are, for some reason, interested into what I have to say. So I better be talking about something important, you know?
That's so interesting.
It was that moment.
Yeah, it's so interesting because a lot of actors or people who have a platform shy away from speaking up on something that could be polarizing. I think, there's still debate about whether or not, all the opinions about sustainability and climate change, et cetera. But yet you chose to be authentically yourself with something that you care about and speak up about it. Was there ever a concern that like, oh, some of the people who follow me or fans of mine may no longer be there if I start speaking about topics that could be interpreted as polarizing?
So I didn't see it as polarizing at the time. Maybe I was naive. Maybe I didn't know enough. But also it's like if the most famous actor and also just one of the most famous people of all time it has been dedicating his life to it, clearly he's doing okay. It wasn't that polarizing where people didn't want to watch him or didn't want to hire him. Right. So I was like, it must not be that big of a deal. He's not like he's a flat earther. I do not believe the earth is flat. Let's just put it out there.
I think we can stand on that.
Yeah. So that would be a little sketch. So no, I don't think I ever thought about that, but I think once my platform started getting bigger and I started realizing, the sort of like wild, wild west of social media.
Sure.
Then, yeah, it started getting a little crazy at times. But, I always say the power of the block button is so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. If somebody says some crazy shit in your DMs or your messages, like, don't give them even a second, because all they want is for you to respond. Right. Because then all of a sudden they get your audience, they get your microphone, they get your megaphone, really, at that point.
Yeah. And now these days, you don't even know if it's a person.
Exactly. Probably back then it was actually people. Now it's God knows if they're bots or whatever they are. So, I still very much am a big believer of not giving them my energy and my time and this platform that I've worked my ass off to get.
Right.
So I think that's how I've always handled it, regardless of what I talk about. I think I've always it's like, this is what I'm choosing to speak about. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you have the option of, you can unfollow me, you can continue to follow me and ride with me. But that doesn't mean you get to spew your vile shit, in my comments or in my DMs. That's when I have the right to get rid of that, because I also don't want that in my life. It's just extremely toxic. I've always been about, when it comes to social media, I've always been about spreading positivity and trying to make people feel good and trying to make people understand that we are all we have.
Right.
Human beings.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you look like, what you speak, who you believe in, who you vote for. We're all on this planet together. And I kind of been a believer of like, we better look out for each other or we're going to destroy each other or we're going to destroy this, this spinning piece of rock that we all just happen to live on. So if you're going to try to throw your negative, crazy shit into my sort of ecosystem, I'm going to throw it out.
Yeah. And then in between 911 Lone Star, you had a son.
Yes.
Congratulations. Who just turned one recently.
Just turned one.
Yeah. And then serendipity will have it that you then ended up being on SWAT Exiles, which then started on your son's birthday. So you were able to enjoy an entire year with your son, that first year of life. I noticed that on your personal socials, you actually put dad first as a descriptor of yourself.
Yeah, Boyd's daddy.
Why is that?
Because that's the most important thing in my life, and that's the most important thing I will ever do, and will continue to do. And I've always weirdly wanted to be a dad. Like my wife Jessica will tell you that when I first met her, one of the first things I said to her is like, I really want to be a daddy.
Oh wow, that's rare that's the man saying that like early.
Yeah, and she was like,
she's like, that's my life.
She's like, this 23-year-old kid with his long Tarzan hair and his tattoos. She's like, what the fuck is this kid talking about? I've always, I think, had that in me. Probably maybe because of how I was raised. Maybe I wanted to change some things up and,
sure.
The generational fathers of where I come from and kind of very toxic father figures, like I think my dad was tough, but you should see my grandfather and then you should see my great grandfather, growing up in the Russian Empire when it was called the Russian Empire.
Right.
Like that's hard to understand. Like my dad was born in Siberia, the coldest place in the world.
Oh, wow.
So it makes sense why he's a pretty cold person sometimes,
Right.
But I've warmed him up and he has tears in his eyes
amazing.
every time we FaceTime, so that's all because of my son. But yeah, I think, it's just like when I'm a huge believer in timing is everything. I know it sounds so cliche, obviously, but when it's to the literal date, that's when things are like kind of freaky.
Right.
Like I finished 5 years of 911 Lone Star. It was the greatest moment of my career, led to some of the greatest times of my life, truly changed my life, like times a million.
Sure.
Financially, success-wise, career, as a human being, opened so many doors I could have never imagined, opportunity, everything. Did 5 years of that, and then had Boyd. So we knew this show was ending, but we also knew we had a baby coming. Yeah. So it was kind of like the most bittersweet, magical thing that could have happened. I wasn't even too upset about the show ending, to be honest, because I was like, oh my God, I get to now be a full-time daddy. I get to like truly dedicate my time to him. And Jessica, she's also a super successful actress, and either she's working or I'm working. So like we're constantly missing each other, and so I was like, ooh, I actually will get some time with my wife, who I miss all the time. I miss her when I'm like 15 minutes away.
Right.
We're like kind of super clingy to each other. But it's cute.
Koalas.
We love super clingy.
We are koalas. Yeah, we're definitely koalas. I never thought of it like that. We're definitely koalas. Now we got this little tiny koala.
Yeah.
And we're crazy about our dogs. But, so I knew that was what the next chapter would be. And it's the biggest chapter ever. He was born September 29th of last year. We, again, by some miracle, were able to be with him for a full year.
Amazing.
I was out of town a couple times. Went to Europe for a couple things. Jess did a gig for, a few days here and there. But, like, we were primarily home. And then, of course, SWAT Exiles comes around. And ironically, the first day of work, literally day one of production, was his first birthday, September 29th. So it was the universe being like, get this full year with your family, enjoy the shit out of it, be a daddy, be a husband. First of all, also like rest a little bit, rest your mind, rest your soul.
Right.
Because that 5-year grind was wild.
Right, I can only imagine.
9 months out of the year, 14-hour days.
Yeah, those shows are a joke.
Yeah, it's a physical grind, but it's a mental grind. Also, it was really my first time, like, really being out there as, like, a public figure.
Right.
And I think navigating that while you're also, like, in the tunnel vision of, like, doing the work, it wasn't literally until this last year where I got to, like, kind of sit back and actually take everything and process everything of, like, holy shit, that was like a crazy 5 years, like almost 6 actually, because we started shooting in 2019. So I think it was just a beautiful time for me to sort of process everything on top of being a dad.
Right.
Like, that's a lot. It's a lot going on, you know? So it was just the most beautiful sort of growth that I could have had this last year. And now I'm on this show that, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on the show right now, but it's like, it's the most incredible production I've ever been on. And I'm working with the most incredible people I've ever worked with, from the crew to the cast to the studio. And it's just like...
What's different about the show in terms of, I mean, it's another franchise, but what's the experience like? Why is it so different?
So again, it's in the procedural first responder,
right?
You know, sort of theme, but it's much grittier,
right?
Much darker.
How do you get into the mindset? You pretty much have to reinvent yourself somewhat, because you were this one character for 5 years, and then now you're entering another hero role, but a different type of hero. So how do you get yourself to reinvent?
Well, what's really nice is I got to buzz my head, which is my favorite look. It also was like on a complete win. I didn't do it for the role.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I also was at a point where I was like, I need to like shed, you know, everything. And I find like buzzing my head is always like a really nice reset. And of course, the day after I buzzed my head, I talked to my team about it, and I was like, listen, I'll do the whole like new headshot thing and everything. Like, I kind of want this to be my new vibe. Because I didn't work with a buzz head literally since my Sundance film.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't my first gig, pretty much, was the last time I looked like this. Again, ironic.
It works. It works.
It's my, thank you. Now my newest gig, you know. But again, it's my I feel the most me.
Right.
Probably because it's like the way I grew up.
Right. You're taking it back to your roots almost a little bit.
I had a
like...
buzz head, big fake diamond earring, you know. The baggiest,
proper Staten Island
baggiest
vibes.
clothes you could get. Oh, yeah. Like, you know, I couldn't afford Jordans yet, but I was thinking about Jordans. But the day after I buzzed my head, this was in July, get a call out of nowhere. You know, they're like, they want to see you again for SWAT Exiles. Oh. And I kind of already put that like behind me because, I didn't hear anything for like a month.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, this is probably not happening, right? So you just got to keep moving. Oren called me and I was like, can you just please let them know, like, I just buzzed my head? Like, I hope that's not a problem. And I remember when I went in for the audition, the first thing that the casting director said, Whitney Horton, she said, ooh, did you buzz your head for the role? I said, no. She said, it works. It's like, it's kind of perfect.
Oh, great.
And I was like, okay. Well,
you're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, obviously, I
but
do.
that could have been really bad if they're like, we want to see you like that other guy, you know?
Right.
And
you forget about that with actors, that like these decisions are like major. Like,
I know something as simple as cutting your hair.
Yeah, it's a major decision.
Especially, you know, being TK Strand for 5 years
right.
on Lone Star. You know, he was a very coiffed,
right,
put together white boy. You know, so it was nice for me personally to like really sort of reinvent myself. And this character could not be more different. Like, he is a dark character.
Oh, okay.
He's a tortured young man. I always seem to play tortured young men.
Hey.
But
do you find pieces of yourself in your characters?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's almost like they can sense it in a way. Like TK Strand's backstory was that he was hooked to opioids.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
you know what that's like.
That was like, when I read that, I said, are they spying on me? Have they been spying on me for 10 years or something?
Right.
It was like freaky, you know, when stuff like that happens. And then, you know, I can now reveal my character name because they just dropped the.
Okay, great.
I played Jude Callan. Jude is such a cool name. It's a Beatles song, you know. Jude is he couldn't be more different than TK, but again has that element of like these heroic characters and these shows about first responders and the people that actually show up when it's the worst day of your life. And I take tremendous pride in, first of all, playing these people, but also showing a light of the real people that are doing
the
it.
humanity
I
of
could
it.
never do what they do.
No.
I could never be a firefighter or a paramedic. Definitely could not be a SWAT person because that training is insane. Those people are on another level.
Right.
It's interesting how I keep falling into. It's also another spinoff.
Right.
Lone Star was a spinoff.
Right.
Maybe I'm like the spinoff guy.
But you must have a great relationship with your fans and with your audience because of the roles that you play.
Yeah.
And because they're so iconic, because everyone just like responds to that. Like we all respond to the first responders in that sense.
Yeah. And, it's interesting. There's kind of been this like renaissance of fandoms in the first responder world. Usually it was like fantasy shows and, vampires and and Teen Wolf and that kind of stuff and Harry Potter and but now there's this giant boom of fandoms really sort of clicking in with first responder shows. Not sure, I'm guessing Grey's Anatomy was probably the initial sort of seed, but now it's like every first responder show that comes out, it almost automatically comes with a huge fan base.
Right.
And I'm curious as to what it is that they attach themselves to and why they are so passionate about it. Because it really is the most passionate fans I've ever seen. I have the ultra privilege of traveling around the world. Our friend Josh actually went with me to a convention in Chicago. It's one of the best trips of my life. Sat courtside at the Bulls game.
Hey,
what's up, Josh? And seeing.
Did they lose to the Knicks or no?
No. Who did they?
Just messing with you.
I'm a Lakers fan.
Oh, okay.
I've been a Lakers fan since I was 6 years old.
LeBron, where you at?
Yeah.
Now you gave us up. You're supposed to be suffering with us over here.
I luckily have never been a Knicks fan. I'm very grateful. It's a lot of heartbreak. I literally became a Laker fan during the three-peat. So it's been real good.
What's it like to be God's favorite?
Long live Kobe, man.
Yes, rest in peace. R.I.P. Kobe.
Yeah, so I've had the ultimate privilege of meeting fans in person,
right?
Like face to face,
1-to-1, right.
All over the world. Every year for the last year, I get to go to Paris to meet fans, which is like
amazing,
the ultimate. Yeah, like it cannot get better than that. I think that's another reason. Like when you ask like how I've stayed level-headed, and I meeting them and being with them on this journey for as long as we have, I feel like a very personal bond, so much more than like through a phone screen. I think the fact that I have gotten to meet them in person over the last like pretty much 6 years, I think has just like really made a extremely tight sort of union between actor and fan that I think is actually kind of bridged that sort of separation. And I think we're like much closer than I think a lot of sort of public figures and their fans are.
Right.
They know a lot about me. Like I've had very deep conversations with them face to face. So I think that's why me and my fans and my sort of like, I guess, social media presence, it's very personal. It doesn't feel too like distant.
I do feel like your characters that you're casted for, that you've been, you do have like a core of a hero in you because you are authentically yourself. You speak out on topics that you believe in. You're not shying away from activism. And I think that fans appreciate that. Like, you are the brand of the heroic figure, if you would. But with that probably comes pressure. And so do you ever feel like sometimes there's a invisible layer of pressure where you have to live up to this, like, you know, persona of being a first responder, and maybe you can't, I don't know, like, is there some sort of pressure there to, I don't want to say be a goody two-shoe all the time, but, you know.
I'm definitely not.
Yeah.
Hence the shaved head.
Yeah. I don't know if it's pressure. I would replace that word with responsibility. Mm-hmm. I think there's a tremendous responsibility, first of all, when you have any sort of platform.
Sure.
And I see people just are wild with it, you know, and they're just setting fires everywhere. So I think that was kind of something I learned early on, nearly 10 years ago, of, you know, that time in 2016 where I had that sort of come to Jesus moment of like, what are you going to do with this platform now? You better be responsible with it, because there's a lot of people listening. And now it's extra a lot of people listening. So I definitely can't be reckless. But I think it just comes down to like being myself.
Right.
And if you like it, great. If you don't, there's a lot of other people you could follow.
Right.
There's way too many people that you can follow nowadays. And I think, you know, with that responsibility, I just keep it very simple in my mind. It's all about like doing good work, being a good person. And now, more importantly, it's like being a good dad.
Right.
You know, and it's kind of like I'm now starting to think about like when my son is old enough to look up his parents.
On that,
like,
fire up that sidekick.
Whatever the hell he's going to have.
Right. It'll be a AI.
Probably going to be like it's going to be a hologram out of his wrist. Like, exactly. I want to make sure that he's proud of the things that he's reading and watching, and, you know, so, you know, I think it's a culmination of all those things, but it's kind of just like staying true to myself.
Right.
And, you know, just like, I just want to do good work.
Right.
I love what I do.
Yeah.
I love busting my ass on set and then going home to my family and my friends. I'm not out there in the streets. I'm not at like a million parties and events.
Not on
and
Sunset
like,
at midnight.
I'm not doing drugs. I'm not getting, you know, blacked out somewhere at some after hours place. Like, I did all that.
Right.
But now it's like, I just keep it very simple. It's like, I just want to do good work and love on my family.
Right.
And, you know, that's kind of it. I've simplified my life in a not so simple
way. Right.
And I think that's just kind of kept me sane.
Right.
And has kept me grounded and has kept me, like, knock on wood, you know, doing cool shit.
Right. So somewhere in your copious amounts of spare time,
we talked about the Beatles earlier.
Right.
We're circling back around.
you managed to
start
a band.
You're a musician now, also.
There's not enough.
You know, just a little side hustle.
It's not enough hours in the day.
You know. So tell us about like the origins of that, how that started, how it came together.
Literally today, as we're speaking, we had a huge magazine shoot with Lady Gun, who's like a magazine that like I grew up reading, and they just like had one of my favorite frontmen of all time from Bush do a shoot with them, Gavin Rosdale. And now it's
amazing.
Our little band on there. So, man, that's a whole different ball game, because that is as personal as it gets. And it's literally me and my two best friends, Johnny Shower and Rodrigo Rodarte. Johnny and I lived together when I first moved to Los Angeles in 2017.
And just for context, for our listeners, your band's name is Nights in Stereo.
Band name is Nights in Stereo. We make 90s, 2000s alternative rock. They call it retro rock now. Is it
the sting? It stings.
Is it that old? Retro.
You're old, honey, I don't know.
They call it retro grunge.
Jesus.
It's like,
my God,
just call it grunge, because grunge is not even around anymore. So anyways, yeah, our band is called Nights in Stereo. Kind of the classic pandemic, you know, sitting around craving, you know, some sort of artistic endeavor. Also, I just finished first season of Lone Star, and then all of a sudden the world shut down and my sort of creative juices were shut down.
Right.
After being on the biggest thing I've ever done. You know, this like giant Ryan Murphy blockbuster TV show. So I was definitely sort of like antsy as fuck. And my best friend John, he when we lived together, he's one of those people that is good at everything. He probably could have been a pro skater. He's definitely a professional musician. Drums and guitar equally as good, which is terrifying because they're both so difficult.
Right.
Prolific photographer. I've done a million photo shoots with him.
Oh, wow.
He's photographed everyone and anyone. And now is this like super brilliant tech guy at Disney. So, you know, it's got a lot of going on, a lot of talent. And I've always heard him playing music when we lived together. And it wasn't until 2020, he actually started recording parts. And I remember I came over one day, we had a lot of whiskey, and he was showing me what he was playing. And I just like, I don't know why, but I was like, I have an idea for a vocal part. And he's like, huh, okay.
He's like, sure, buddy.
Sure. Like, we're drunk, but like, how drunk are we? And he hooked up the mic, set everything up, and it sounded pretty good.
Oh.
And we looked at each other like, maybe we should keep recording tonight. And I think we like demoed like an entire song.
Oh, wow. Had you sang before that, or?
No, I mean, in the shower and in the car.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I loved to sing, and music is truly my first love. And I think the music I listen to has always been like really vocal, you know, heavy vocals. Like my favorite band of all time is Kings of Leon. So I think like growing up singing Kings of Leon and Coldplay and Bob Marley and Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think I kind of got comfortable with singing not so easy vocals maybe. That's kind of where it stemmed from.
Oh, okay.
Because, man, those guys could sing.
Yeah.
My God. So that night we kind of demoed a song. And one of our dear friends, Mike Riley, he co-owns one of the biggest studios in Los Angeles called Noise Nest. He's a prolific producer, the Grammy-nominated drummer, like as legit as it gets. And I remember we showed him some of our demos, and he was like, this is actually good. And we were like, oh, shit.
He was like surprised. He was like, wait a minute.
I think we might have to do this.
You might have something.
Like, this is just was a complete whim. And then it wasn't until we brought, so Rodrigo's John's oldest friend. They've known each other for, I think, over 15 years now. I got to know Rodrigo through John. And it's kind of like our LA squad. Also, John's from New York. We've always had that. A couple of New York Jewish dudes came to LA to pursue our dreams, you know. We love music. We love weed. We love skateboarding. It was a perfect match.
Match made in heaven.
Match made in heaven. And I remember when we were living together, we would always like bounce music off each other. I'd be like, oh my God, did you hear this new Harry Styles album? He's like, did you hear this new Warpaint album? Did you hear this new War on Drugs album? Then we'd go see shows together. And that's kind of like how our love for music, it literally was like building together. And it wasn't until we brought Rodrigo in. He's a prolific bassist. Also writes beautiful guitar parts. It wasn't until the three of us got together where it was like, oh shit, I think we have a band. Because we are writing really, really, really beautiful stuff that like we really like. Regardless of what people think at that point. Because, you know, we didn't have anything. I was like, we really like this. And this is really nice to our ears. And I think we know a little something about music because our taste in music is so wildly vast. It goes from like Norwegian death metal to like Bob Marley and Drake and War on Drugs and Kings of Leon and Glassjaw and you name it, you know, like I'm obsessed with the Doors. There's a Jim Morrison poster over there, you know, and like the influences is so wild. So we're like, I think this sounds good. And then when you have someone like Mike Riley, the producer, say, this definitely sounds good.
Right.
Because he knows how to make music and he knows how to put music together.
Right.
And he knows how to produce.
Right.
And it wasn't until we got into the studio at Noise Nest where there's literally plaques of Machine Gun Kelly and Post Malone. And Billie Eilish was in there a couple hours before. And now we get to go in. And it's like, what is happening? And I think doing all that while having, you know, somewhat of a successful career as an actor.
Right.
I, for the first time, again, felt like a rookie in another art form. So I had to kind of start from scratch.
Right.
While I'm, you know, doing pretty well as an actor. So I think for the three of us, it was kind of a way to like, we're all starting from zero. It wasn't like one of us was already some prolific musician.
Right.
And then they brought us in. Like we all went through it together from the bottom. And we released 2 songs. People were crazy about them. We have like millions of streams from just those first 2 songs.
Amazing.
And we're like, oh shit, we have to do this now. Because we didn't know. That was the test. How are they going to react to our singles? They loved it. And this was in 2022. We released a song called Open Door, which is our biggest song to date. Another song called Underwater. I write and sing the vocals. All the lyrics are mine, which is so scary because it's my story, it's my feelings, it's my emotions, it's a very vulnerable place to be in.
Right.
And it's kind of the 3 or 4 of us. That's maximum the amount of people that touch this product. When you come from the acting world, it's hundreds of people.
Sure.
And then there's studio executives. And then there's producers. And there's so many chefs in the kitchen. So this was the first time being like, oh, this is really ours.
Right.
Especially when my lyrics are very moody, very, very angsty. You know, my influences are...
You gotta stay true to your roots.
My influences are, you know, Nirvana and Kings of Leon. It's, you know, it's going to be pretty angsty.
Right.
So going on that journey has been so surreal because we truly didn't know if it would work. Regardless if I had a fan base or... Music is so... personal, yeah. If people like it, they will like it. If they don't, they will let you know it's trash.
Right.
You know when you hear something, you're like, skip.
Right.
And 3 years later, we released our debut EP. It's called Second Nature. We released it June 18th. Again, people are loving it. And we were able to finally do a full rollout of a release.
Right.
You know, legit press. Magazines, photo shoots, interviews, podcasts, get to really dedicate ourselves to the band, which is another thing that Lone Star ending, the timing of it, I was finally able to fully dedicate myself to the music. Because before that, we're trying to make music in between seasons, which is nearly impossible. I get 2 months off. I'm brain dead. And I'm getting the 3 of us together with all of our schedules. It was almost impossible. So we finally got to like finish, record, writing, and then release. And now we're kind of riding that wave.
Nice.
And now we're getting ready to play live and write even more music. On top of being on a giant TV show.
You're very productive in that year.
And being a dad and a husband. It's I don't know. I'm just trying my best.
I love that everything you've done has been passion driven.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know any other way. probably.
Do you ever have like nervousness or apprehension every time you go into a new endeavor? Or are you just so rosy sunglasses about the passion that it just gets you through it?
I probably have normal human being nervousness, you know,
Right.
of like, I hope this doesn't suck, or I hope this doesn't
Right,
shit
right,
the bed. But I don't know. I think with the passion, I make sure that I do everything I possibly can. Like whether it's, you know, work ethic, preparation, like making sure, you know, every effort has been made. I would never want to feel like I didn't do enough, or I didn't give it my all.
Right.
Then I think I would feel probably not as confident. I think the confidence comes from doing everything I possibly could, and then honestly, it's up to the universe. You know, it's up to the audience. There's only so much we could control. But I think if there is an authentic passion to it and you put in the work, if it works, great. If it doesn't, you still know that you gave it your all. And I think that's a really important lesson for just kind of anything you go into. Also not sort of putting everything into the result or it has to be successful. I love the process of all the stuff that I'm doing. I get to make music with my two best friends. I get to make believe on the biggest productions in the world. Like, if it doesn't work, great.
Right.
Like, look what I got to do. You know,
Right.
like this is my dream. So, and the fact that it has worked, thank God. Like, man,
Amazing.
it's just a bonus. It's just a super bonus.
What advice would you give to creatives who are coming up now in this environment where there's also a lot of AI disruption?
Oh
And
my God. Oh my God. I definitely can't speak on that because that's new, I think, for everybody.
Right.
And I am so grateful that I came in at the time that I came in, because I came in even before the YouTube craze and content creators. That didn't exist when I was coming up. Like, you had to go to class, find
Right.
representation,
Right.
and you better be good.
Right.
And now everyone and anyone can make content or get famous or have a social media following. Like, it's, you know, it's just, it feels like the wild, wild west out there right now. But I think there's some very crucial roots that you could apply to any time. And what I would say to people, especially in these sort of crazy times, is like, you better be passionate about it. Like, it better be something that you really care about
Right.
and are willing to work your ass off for. Not necessarily the thing that's the trendiest or that everyone else is doing, but it better be something that you feel deep in your core you need to do this and you want to do this and you want to do it well.
Like, something we ask all of our guests is sort of what's your definition of success now and how is it different, you know, from before?
That's a great question. You know, I wish, man, there's a video of Bob Marley. They asked him that exact question, and I'm not gonna try to do it because it's so brilliant how he did it. But he kind of was saying, like, it's not about the riches that I have, or he's like, I'm a rich man, but I'm not rich in that sense. I think right now it's about my family, where we live and how we live. When before it was like, make a paycheck, hopefully have like a nice apartment somewhere, maybe a nice car. Hopefully you can pay rent,
Right.
put food on the table. But now that, you know, I've sort of gotten to a different level in my career, now it's like, we want land,
Right.
we want property, we want to grow our own food, we want animals, and we want to be the best possible parents we could be. And we want to raise Boyd in an environment with nature, animals, love, minimal technology if we can, and just go back to the simpler times.
Right.
You know, like Jess comes from a world of Canadian farmers and Canadian cowboys. And I think that's something she's always craved. And that's something weirdly I've craved for a long time. And I think when we can walk out onto our property, go pick some eggs, pick some veggies, teach Boyd about how this works and that works, and why this tree's amazing, and why this fruit grows from that, and keep things very sort of simple. I think that for us is sort of the next level of what success looks like.
Right.
It really becomes of how we raise our little guy.
Right.
And sort of the environment that we continue our life, you know, because hopefully we're going to be on this earth for much longer.
Sometime.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, you know, I think our peace of mind, our happiness, our health, and then how we are as parents, I think that's what success is for us now. Because luckily we've gotten to a place where we don't really have to worry about the other things that we, you know, had to worry about when we were starting off.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, you left out with those eggs. You put them in some flour and you make us some pasta. So we could come over.
See that
You
video?
know, it's like, these are critical life lessons for boys. You know what I'm saying? Like
man.
making the family dinner for the friends that come over.
Teach him how to make pasta from scratch.
And
I
listen,
mean, that would be pretty epic.
I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
You know, like we're here to support you.
Man, that was, I don't know for anybody that saw that video on Instagram, but that was the greatest dish of pasta I've ever had in my life.
It looked like it.
And
that's what it gave. That's what it gave.
and we got to make it right in our kitchen.
I can testify.
Yeah, we didn't have to go to some bougie ass restaurant.
You didn't have to go to Tuscany
we
or
just
anything.
had to go
It was right there
in our kitchen. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much
Thank you. This was such
for
a
joining
pleasure.
us for this conversation. It's so great to hear your story, how you started. And it's amazing that you had that, like, it's that moment of like walking out on stage and the lights and to have it all like drop in.
Yeah.
It's such a blessing
Yeah.
to get that kind of psychic hit that early in your life
Yeah.
of like, this is it. This is what I want to do. And you were able to like lock in on it.
Yeah.
And it's such a joy to watch you and watch your career. I'm so excited to see more of your music and more of you as a dad, especially, and a husband. And just thank you for joining us today.
Thank you guys. This is such a pleasure.
Yeah, and as a toddler mom and as mothers, I want to say thank you for setting such a good example and for helping to secure our planet for our kids. I think that your efforts and using your platform is something really special for all of us because a lot of people don't do that and have a platform to do it. And so you're helping us as well allow the future for our kids.
It's all we have.
Yeah.
You know, and
That
our
part.
kids, you know, I hope they look back at least on us and be like, well, at least my parents tried.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
That's all I want him to say one day is my daddy tried his best. Thank you. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.